tell me just really where you started before we like talked, when we were first kind of getting to figure each other out what we're going to do. I guess that might have actually been back at the open house we both attended there in Anchorage. We first met.
Yeah.
Where were you at then, and what were you trying to accomplish? What was the kind of the dream that was going on?
Sure. So I'm a dually board certified OBGYN and maternal fetal medicine physician. And sorry. Okay, I'll start over. So as a dually board certified OBGYN and maternal fetal medicine physician, I had just completed working at an institution, teaching residents and fellows. And I had an unfortunate event where I had broken my leg and I had to take quite a bit of time off to heal, and I had to do about 40 physical therapy sessions. And it was basically like learning how to walk again. So I was doing a lot of things that, took a lot of time, effort, and thought work, mainly positive, to say, you know what, I can get back to where I was, at least to a baseline. And, I felt like in that position where I worked, that I was kind of just a cog in the wheel. And it was really kind of an eye-opening event where I sat at home, non-weight bearing, for at least 9 weeks, 3 months I was out of work. I had amazing benefits though. I mean, I didn't have to worry about getting paid, which was great, but I had a lot of time to think of what I wanted the rest of my career to be, what my future self was going to be. And I talked to my husband and I said, you know what? And we both agreed we needed to move back to where we had family, and that, I wanted to look into job opportunities in Alaska, where I was born and raised. And there wasn't really anything that like spoke to me or like was a great fit. And I had reached out to one of my friends who had done management in business, specifically medical practices. And she was like, let's start a practice. Why not do that? And I was like, wow, never thought of that before. But I think that I'm at a point in time in my life where it would be really nice to have the autonomy to make a lot of decisions, run a practice the way that I want to run it, be the boss, and kind of do those things. And I think, there's a certain point in your career where you have the confidence to say, you know what, I can do this on my own and I don't need partners, and I'm pretty good at reading ultrasounds, taking care of diabetics, doing the things that I do on a daily basis. So I think, my previous experiences really gave me that eye-opening moment where I was like, I can do this. So, building that confidence. And so like, I think, when I met you, I was at a point where I was like, you know what, I got through all of that with some great coaching. I discovered physician coaching. And I had some great people in business too, who helped me start my practice. We made it successfully through the pandemic. It wasn't easy. And, also realizing that, that confidence and that ability to transfer my knowledge of medicine and my confidence in medicine over into the business realm was something that I continued to work on with the help of, others. But then when I had this opportunity to say, you know what, I can help other people who were like me and burned out and didn't have autonomy and felt like I was a cog in the wheel, and, to take control of that with coaching. I mean, I'm not saying that everyone that I need to coach has to want to change their career or anything like that, it's your mindset. And so, knowing that you can be successful in business, and also have like a cheerleader in your court and someone who's been through it, because I've done quite a few things in my short career being duly board certified that could be very beneficial to other women in medicine. So I started my coaching practice, and when we met, I had recently started my coaching practice. Also had recently started this private practice, solo maternal fetal medicine practice, and have just been really learning along the way, and joined your mastermind, and have learned so many things, not only from you, but also from the amazing people that are also in it. I mean, I just can't believe the people that I get to interact with, weekly. I mean, at first it was twice a week, and I was like, oh my gosh, these people, hopefully they'll accept me into their group.
Absolutely.
So it's been amazing.
You're a perfect fit in the group, and in some ways we have a lot of people in our groups who are consultants like you, coaches, that even though you're a dual board certified physician, that makes you a consultant. It makes you a coach. That happens to be your subject matter, right? Yeah. And a lot of people don't see themselves as the coach or the consultant that they are. They're helping someone solve problems and advising and helping them navigate that part of their life. Mm-hmm. So you making that shift from coaching and consulting mamas with babies to helping other women in your profession, what made you shift from one to the other? Because that's almost a significant patient-based shift, if you want to look at it that way. Mm-hmm. You're changing the population that you serve in some ways.
Mm-hmm. I think once I realized how wonderful and capable, how realistically you can do this. I think starting your own practice, starting your own business, maybe there's some type of mindset in the minds of physicians that tells them they can't really do that, or that they're not capable of doing that for some reason, or that their area of expertise is in medicine, and how can that transfer over to business, because we're not really formally trained in business in medical school. I did take 2 business classes during medical school, and we got a certificate from Penn State saying that we took some business and medicine courses, but really they don't teach you a lot about billing, coding, running a medical practice, supply chain management, all those things. So I think physicians go out there and they think, well, how could I ever do that? I don't know the first thing about business, but you can. You just have to hire the right people and take on a little bit of learning yourself, and know that, you got through medical school, you can definitely do this. So, any type of business, whether it's consulting or coaching or being in private practice for yourself, it's not something that can't be achieved. And so changing that mindset, I think, really needs to happen in a lot of physicians who are burned out. And I do have quite a passion for helping people in my profession, because physician suicide is something that a lot of people don't talk about, swept under the rug. But physicians do have the highest rate of suicide, almost 2 times that of the general population. And a lot of times it's because perfection is expected in a profession where perfection is not possible. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of us physicians are perfectionists in so many ways. And that's another reason why they don't pursue business, is because how could I ever do that? I have to be perfect at it. I have to know everything about it, mm-hmm. And you don't. You learn a lot along the way.
Mm.
So.
Okay, so you're starting and building and growing not starting, you're already doing it, but you have a following of women in healthcare who are leaning in on you, and you're helping them cope with the realities of life as a woman in a historically male-dominated world,
Mm-hmm.
and women who are also often the primary caregivers for those around them in their family, their communities, and still bearing the weight that the average guy physician bears with the glass ceilings in place. There's a lot of pressure on the people that you serve. How are you taking them through a process that allows them to breathe and be free?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, first of all, it's trying to figure out what is the one thing that they've always wanted to do in their life that maybe they haven't done. And, kind of taking a step back and looking at their lives, seeing how much they have accomplished and being proud of that, championing that. Because, it takes a lot to become a physician. And it takes a lot to be a mother. I mean, some of our clients are not mothers, but, it takes a lot to be a mother, a spouse, a dog mom. I mean, anything. It takes so much of your life to get to that final destination, so much delayed gratification. And then to be unhappy with your position as a physician because of external pressures like, Press Ganey scores, patient ratings, bad patient outcomes. We can't control it all. Although we like to sometimes think that we can not control it all. Bad patient outcomes, getting sued. Right? It happens in medicine all the time. It's actually part of the business of medicine, but a lot of people don't realize it or know how to deal with that until they're faced with something like that. Maybe not getting promoted, maybe not getting paid your fair share. Workplace conflicts, vacation requests, denials. There's all kinds of different things that, can make someone upset on one day versus not another. Mm-hmm. And learning how to anticipate those types of things and what kinds of responses you'll have by doing a lot of mind work is something that I encourage, and then also encourage them to develop a self-compassion project, because a lot of times as physicians, we're so busy taking care of everyone else that our health, either mentally, physically, suffers. And we don't take that time to pay attention to ourselves, the caregivers healing the healers.
Oh, yeah. That's a good way to say that.
Mm-hmm.
So any other thoughts that, as we tell your story, who you are, I want to know how people can reach out to you. How can they engage with you? How can they become part of your process and follow you as a leader?
Sure. Well, I have a website, www.ladydocs.com, and that's LADYDOX.com. There's also a podcast that I started about the same time that I started the mastermind, and it's called Right Brain Rounds. And it's really about transitions in medicine. And I try to focus on women in medicine because that's the population that I coach. And that's what I know best, because that's what I am. And I'm also a musician. So I have a BA in music, and I love to play the flute. And so I interview a lot of people that have other hobbies or passions outside of medicine, and talk to them about how they can exemplify that in their lives and maybe even incorporate it into a self-compassion project, which is my 6-month coaching pathway for female physicians. And it's a group coaching pathway. So, and that can also be found on the www.ladydocs.com. And when you look at the Lady Docs site, it also connects up to the Right Brain Rounds Buzzsprout website where the podcast is hosted.
Great. That's perfect. I'm so glad you're in our group. Oh my gosh.
I'm happy to be there.
You're truly one of our rock stars. We don't use that word lightly. And we only ask a few folks to actually sit down and tell us more about them like this, because we only want to share and point people to the folks in our group who are truly just achieving amazing things. And most people in our group do. We just only reach out when that is really happening, and you're just amazing. The people you're working with are so fortunate to have you in their life. So both the patients and the clients on your side. So well done, Corinna.
Thank you.